All right. All right, welcome, Dr. Maya Kinzigler of Monarch Family Chiropractic. And I just want to take a moment and appreciate all of you who are with us tonight on this snowy spring day. And I know you hear me say this all the time, but there's many things that you could be doing on a Tuesday night at 5:45, and you're choosing to spend it with us. And my hope is that you will at least hear something that will help hold you accountable to doing what is most right for your health. That's why we see people who show up to these workshops tend to respond 30 to 70% faster than those who don't, because it does hold you accountable. And tonight, our conversation is around sick care versus health care. And where I want to start is I would just love to hear, if you're in the office, awesome. If you're on Zoom, if you'll use the chat, what words come to mind when you describe the word sick? What words do you think of? Or maybe it's emotions that you think of when you hear somebody is sick. Okay, so Mama Z said lethargic. Weak. Okay. Ill. Okay, what else? Wake up call, Colleen said. Okay, what else? Feverish. Contagious. Okay. Anything else? Feeling icky. Icky. Fatigue. Pain. So there's definitely a symptom component to it, for sure.
Someone said miserable and chat.
It's miserable. Okay. Okay. I think of maybe potentially somebody who might be older, so, that maybe comes to my mind. Okay. And just sit with that. And then I want to think about words that come to mind when you think about health. Vitality. What else? Energy. Alive. Youth. Longevity. Vibrant. Like that. Strong. Active. Wellness. Nutrition. Energy. Motivated. Confident. Okay, I think that's a good list here. I want to really think about, as we go through this conversation, I want you to think about the lens in which we're using these words as it relates to our healthcare. Being sick versus being healthy. Now, I want to go to my next box. You see it already. But when it comes to your health, what activities, what actions lead to you being sick? Okay, so if you're exposed to a lot of things and your body's already at a place where it can't handle those cumulative things. Okay, so group events, lack of sleep, stress, poor eating, sadness, stress, grief. I guess I'll do grief. Inactivity. Isolation, disconnect, depression. Anything else? Subluxation. I'll say it. Okay, so viruses, bacteria, like anything that could contribute to an infection. Is that what you're saying?
No,
Oh, Jenna said, oh, Jenna, making your chiropractor real happy. So lack of chiropractic care. Okay. What about what leads to health? What actions, what activities lead to health?
Eating well.
Okay, eating well. Getting adjusted.
Food.
movement, sleep,
fresh air,
fresh air,
hot water,
sunshine, water, Mother Nature. That kind of is all encompassing there.
supplement.
Diet and changing diet and happy exercise. Okay. Dance, I love that. Changing diet, happy. Yes, Matt, thank you for that. That's why you guys get your hugs when you come in here. Happy exercise, hugs, meditation, dance. Okay. So each of these, as we're going through thinking about the actions that contribute to a state of sickness or an action that contributes to a state of health, very different. I find Colleen, she's also giving the thumbs up to Matt. So when Matt's in the office, he would like some hugs, is what I'm getting. With his permission. So I'm bringing this up because what are we doing on a day-to-day basis to help support our health? How are we getting it assessed on a regular basis? And, you know, when it comes to our healthcare system, when you look at these two boxes, I mean, I guess my question for you is, how is your general practitioner? How is your annual physical? How are what we have access to under insurance supporting the category of health? Yeah.
Simple preventative care.
Okay, so they're doing more preventative care. Okay. So I hear prevention. I'm gonna go down here. I made another box. So prevention is for health. Okay. And what does that include? How are they doing? What activities, what diagnostics are they using to prevent?
Testing,
What kind of testing?
blood testing.
Okay, blood work. So what are they going to find in blood work?
The amount of vitamins and minerals that you've been.
So I'm hearing in the in-house here that when you do blood work, they're really looking at a panel in terms of nutrition deficiencies as far as vitamins, minerals go. But I don't know if you've been to your annual physical anytime soon. The blood labs that they take are not those blood labs. So
cholesterol. It's a
Yeah.
lipid profile.
lipid profile, blood sugars.
And blood sugars.
Okay. So my question for you is, if we see that you are diabetic or pre-diabetic, how is that helping support your health? Don't you want to get that information before you are in that state? I mean, it's baseline. It's awareness. Okay. What else do they use besides blood work?
Testing into your regular medical stuff.
Okay. So annual exams, whether it's, you know, male specific or female specific in terms of reproductive health. Okay. What else? Weight. Okay. What else?
Depending on what's going on, I think there's pulmonary exams, x-rays.
Pulmonary exams, x-rays. Okay.
CAT scan during
CAT scans. So here's my question. If they're doing pulmonary exams, x-rays, CAT scans, MRIs, what is the indicator that that diagnostic needs to be done?
symptom.
A symptom.
Some kind of symptom.
Okay. And I guess I'll go back to this list that we said, these are the actions that create health. Of those health and of those diagnostics that you just shared, what of those diagnostics are going to assess those things? What are those diagnostics that are going to assess those things that are available in our healthcare system? I mean, again, and Amber said therapy. So what are the diagnostics that, oh, are you talking like therapy being like a mental health practitioner? Okay. Okay. So let's just write this down somewhere. Mental health practitioner. And that can be in the umbrella. Okay. I guess I will argue this, that when it comes to any diagnostic that our healthcare as an umbrella is utilizing in terms of, and in the name of prevention, are we already at the state in terms of sickness under this guise of prevention?
It's more reactive.
Okay. Okay. So I'm hearing it's reactive in terms of our healthcare. So let's see.
Once there's an issue, that's when they start doing the test to find out what treatment should be in their.
Okay. Okay. So, I mean, I agree with you. It is a reactive mode of healthcare. We call it sick care because it's really based off of how you're feeling. And if you're reached a certain point in your health to address that sickness, but it is reactive in nature. So when I look at all of these things, really, I mean, yes, weight is a component to really assess health. There's measurements you can do, waist, hip, when we talked about metabolic syndrome. Yes, there are blood panels, but I would say often when you're talking about assessing for deficiencies, those are more specialized, and it's often done by somebody who is seeking more than what is offered in our healthcare system. I want to show you this here. I got to make sure I'm sharing the screen with you guys. So I'm going to bounce back and forth. So I love this wellness scale here. You guys see that? I know it's small. But this is really a scale to look at in terms of function and health. We're at 100% function, which is normal. Then our body is running perfectly. I'm going to bring this down here. And then these are the characteristics or states on this right side that we see can happen when we see a body that is less than in terms of function. So if you look at that 50% line, that is no symptoms. That means your body's functioning at 50%. We're not even experiencing any pain, any symptoms. Anything below that is where we start to experience low energy, fatigue, pain, sickness, diagnosed condition, serious condition, death. You guys see that okay? I'll go here. There we go. So, I mean, when you look here, how are we doing in terms of our healthcare? How are we doing in terms of really addressing these higher states of function and vitality and that allow us to experience motivation and confidence, vibrancy? And what are we using on a regular basis to really assess that and support that trajectory in health? You know, the average person is operating down here. You know, a lot of people have diagnoses. A lot of people are attached to their diagnoses. And when you get diagnosed, you're really labeled and placed into a category, and it's what's the appropriate treatment for that. And typically the treatment utilized are medications. And anytime you introduce something to the body, there are always effects, as we mentioned, and we can't pick one is better than the other. They're all effects. And then we introduce another because we maybe have a side effect or something's not working. And then we have, challenges with the the reactions that are happening with your body and also the medications you're taking. And I know Colleen has an amazing story. 8 years ago, I was diagnosed with tonsil cancer before I ever even had a treatment. An oncologist told my family to just put me in hospice. I had somebody who was complaining of wrist pain, She just woke up. She felt like her wrists were sprained. She went in to see her general practitioner. And they said, well, you have carpal tunnel. We're going to refer you to a surgeon. And I said, did they do any diagnostics? No. They're really based off of history. And so, again, I'm sharing, I know that there are people who have really had wonderful experiences with their healthcare providers. But I do believe that we need to want and ask for more of our healthcare if we want more for our health. So let me share another one with you. I always find that wellness spectrum is I just think it's a nice sounding board to really assess, number one, what you believe health to be, number two, what you're currently experiencing, and then what that could potentially show you in terms of where you are function wise. So if we define health, a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. This is the definition in Webster. And so I feel that it is important for all of us to define what health is. This is my definition. You know, do we have a clear connection between our brain and body? Is our brain best able to integrate the demands of life so we can process in a way that helps us, you know, function well and integrate the things that we do to support health? So are we moving? Are we eating well, thinking well, hydrating, sleeping? Do we have healthy social connection? And if you're utilizing a healthcare modality that doesn't address these things, you really got to look at, am I plugged into a sick care system that is only going to wait for me to get sick and then is going to do something about it? And really that doing something about it is managing that symptom. I had a thought there, waiting for it to come back in. Dr. Kristen showed me this really nice. So if you guys want any of these handouts, I'm happy to share them with you. This is a workshop we did called Principles of Health. But I find that sometimes people are really great at doing some of these already. It's just there's areas that they can really focus on, or you know that maybe the thing that I need to do is sleep, and it's really starting to chart a way to put you on a trajectory of experiencing more vibrancy in terms of your health. So happy to share this with you. But if we share this, so this is really sick care versus health care. In terms of the starting point, the outcomes, the time, the style, all of those things. So, and a lot of times pain is thought to be the problem, but really pain is the indicator. It is the check engine light that's showing up in your car, right? If you have your check engine light pop in on your car, are you going to unplug that light bulb? Is that the problem? No, you're not going to get too far in your car, right? It's going to shut down pretty quickly. And that's what we're doing. We're just managing our pain. But we see that it suppresses or allows the symptom to dive deeper into the body. So when you look at sick care versus health care, the intent is really to manage or control or suppress the symptom. And when we do that, when we suppress it, it allows for that problem to dive deeper and deeper into the body. And so you start to see worse and worse symptoms show up, right? People who have diabetes running unchecked, what happens? They have peripheral neuropathy. That's a loss of, sensation in their limbs. I mean, the body literally, if you look at what happens in frostbite, right? What's the first thing to go? Limbs, right? Your body is starting to conserve what is most vital, which is all this stuff. Same thing in peripheral neuropathy. Like you've got a blood sugar that's just run rampant, and you have people who start to lose sensation in their toes. You have people who lose limbs if diabetes is left unchecked. So if you just, ignore or manage things, at some point the body's going to conserve to try and survive and maintain, living. And so with sick care, it's always meant to feel better. How can we manage this? How can we manage this with medications? If that doesn't work, how can we manage this with, cortisone shots? If that doesn't work, how can we manage this with surgery? If that doesn't work, how can we manage it with maybe another surgery? And it's really looking at from short-term to short-term, managing these pockets of time frame. And I mean, if you go to that hero line, the hero is considered the doctor of the drug. And I will tell you, there is no science that has been able to create a human being, nor will it ever, in my opinion. I don't know. I guess we'll see what thousands of years happen with massive movements in technology. But I mean, have we ever been able to create life? So if we think we are smarter than the intelligence that is within, then I got another, reality check here. Our bodies are smarter than we could ever be. Your body is smarter than I could ever know what it needs. I mean, Doc and I will say we are not doing the healing. We are taking stress off of a system to allow for the body to heal. And this is my aunt and uncle are medical internists. They taught at medical school 30 plus years into a career. My uncle told me as he was retiring, 30 years in medical internist, he said, Mayakin, what I've realized in my 30 years of practice is that the body heals itself. The less that I do to, put stress on that with my tools that I have, the better off I am. And I literally jaw dropped. I was like, Uncle Dave, you're spouting chiropractic philosophy right now. It took you 30 years to figure that one out, So, I mean, your body is far more miraculous and intelligent than you have ever been led to believe. You have people coming back from stage 4 terminal cancer. You have people all the time when they choose a different route and when they choose different lifestyle activities, they express a different level of health. We are totally locked into a system that is designed to address sickness. And as you remember from a couple weeks back, I shared some research from, talked about metabolic health syndrome and how 94% of Americans are metabolically unhealthy and at risk for chronic disease, period. That's 1 in 15 of us are healthy. And she said, it is unsustainable. We cannot sustain the trajectory that we are on in terms of our healthcare system. We are spending 2.5 times the amount of money on our healthcare system than the next, most industrialized country. And we are at last, dead last. Our healthcare system is not a healthcare system. It is a sick care system. And we want to put it on a pedestal. Listen, if you are in a car accident, if you are, spewing blood from your carotid artery, if you are going to totally sepsis, like body mass infection, you want our healthcare system. We are amazing at emergency care and treatment. You want that. Don't come here. But if you want health and you want vitality and you want vibrancy, You're going to have to really assess who you're utilizing to help support that. And that's where I would look at, you know, who in your healthcare, you know, team is really assessing function, who's looking at supporting growth and vitality, who's looking at the long term, and who's really challenging you to make better decisions when it comes to what you do day in and day out for what you're feeding yourself and how you're moving your body and how you're sleeping and what your social connections are. You know, we have really great diagnostics that we call prevention, but by the time we find it, it's already been a problem. Breast cancer has been around for 10, 12 years before we can find it. So are you telling me that the mammogram that I get now, which there's some, you know, research showing that the radiation from mammography may be contributing to, you know, some of the things that we're seeing. So are you telling me that now that we see it's big enough that they can prevent, that they see it, that's healthcare? We need to find that out like 10 years ago to divert that trajectory so that you don't even get that diagnosis 10 years down the road. I mean, the beauty of chiropractic is there's many, many things that people don't get diagnosed with or have to get prescribed because they are living and experiencing a healthier lifestyle. So my hope with this is that it's really reflection on your healthcare. Is your primary mode of healthcare sick care, or is it healthcare? And understand that if you're using insurance, insurance doesn't really support healthcare. They like sick care. I mean, it's just crazy. You could have 100% coverage, unlimited visits, and they will say, if you're not in pain, it is not medically necessary, therefore we will not cover your care, period. So that's where, when it comes to the investment in time, money, and energy in your health, if you do that now, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It is an investment that you are taking on a day-to-day basis. And we are here to support you and hold you accountable to that, because we can't do those things for you. It's not our spine. It's not our health. We have our own things we're doing for our own health. And so my hope is you really sit with, you know, the things that you're doing to choose your healthcare providers, and just know that just understand who your healthcare providers are. And is it for evaluating sickness and level of sickness and what trajectory you're on in terms of that sickness and function? And do you have people in there who are really addressing health? Because health is a long-term, I mean, it's long-term, it's a long game. So we so appreciate you being here tonight. It is our Patient Appreciation Week, and we've got some fruit and bubbly and granola bars still in the office here. And you've referred in your family and friends, and we really appreciate you sharing those things, because where else are they going to hear that there's something they can do, maybe have some hope about what their future looks like? You know, if this is the only place they're hearing about health and vitality. And if they choose to get care, awesome. If they don't, that's okay too. That's not your responsibility. That's not ours, but it's our way of giving back. So we appreciate you sharing what you are sharing. If you have questions, or if you want any of those handouts, I will print them off. They will be here in the office. But it is that time. So we'll be back next week talking about, I think it's where is it right here? Oh, essential oils and how essential oils can support your health regimen. So I know there's always a lot of questions around essential oils. So Doc has got that talk prepped and ready to rock over there. She's the essential oils guru. So anyway, we love and appreciate you. Thanks for being here. If you can stay on so we can make sure we take attendance.